In this section of notes, we're going to talk about adjectives, what they are, how to tell whether they're masculine or feminine, how to make our adjectives and nouns agree, and we're also going to talk about the issimo ending. So just a quick review. Nouns are people, places, things, or ideas. Nouns are the same in any language. In Spanish, our nouns are going to either be masculine or feminine. And you're going to decide if a noun is masculine or feminine by looking at the last letter or group of letters of the noun. So masculine words are going to end in the following letters: L, O, N, E, and R. They spell out the word loner. There are going to be some exceptions to this, but it's easier to remember what are the exceptions. And this rule will cover about 90% of all of your nouns in Spanish. So if it's not one of the letters in loner, it's going to be a feminine word. Our traditional feminine endings are A, D, T, and ION with an accent on the O, like la televisión. Remember that when you're deciding if a noun is masculine or feminine, you need to look at the singular form of the noun. So how do we make our nouns plural? We look at the last letter, and if it ends in a vowel, we add S. We add ES to words that end in a consonant. And if the word, the noun, or even the adjective ends in Z, we need to change the Z to C, and then we add ES. So adjectives modify our nouns. They describe our nouns. And in Spanish, adjectives must agree in gender and in number with the noun. What does that mean? Gender means masculine or feminine, and number means singular or plural. So the adjective needs to match the noun. And remember that we place our adjectives after the noun in Spanish. So to make our adjectives agree in gender, if the adjective ends in an O, we can change the O to an A to make it feminine. You can also add an A to nouns that end in L or R if you make those feminine. We don't change adjectives that end in any other letter, only O's to A's. We make an adjective plural just like we would make a noun plural. We add S to a word ending in a vowel. We add ES to a word ending in a consonant. And if our adjective ends in Z, like feliz, we change the Z to C and we add ES. The issimo ending is something you may have seen, but you probably have never learned how to use. So this is something new for this year. This is enrichment, so it's something that you can use, but it's not something that you're going to be tested or quizzed on. So the issimo ending is used instead of saying muy, 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 muy 100 times. And you can only add the issimo ending to an adjective. So to add the issimo ending to an adjective that ends in any vowel, A, E, I, O, U, the first thing you have to do is drop the vowel, and then you just add issimo to it. So if our adjective ends in Z, we have to do an extra step. First, we have to drop the vowel if necessary. And if we drop the vowel and there's a Z, we change the Z to C, and then we add issimo. If we have an adjective like feliz that already ends in Z, we just start at step 2, and we change the Z to C, and then we add issimo. So if we have an adjective that ends in C, the first thing we do is we drop the vowel if necessary, like antipatico or simpatico. When we drop the O, we're left with a C. So then we need to change the C to a QU, and then we add our issimo. So we have 7 adjectives that are listed in our packets: aburrido, inteligente, feliz, impaciente, serio, simpático, y atlético. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down the issimo form of this adjective. Be careful with numbers 3, 6, and 7. Take a few minutes and do this, and then we'll check our answers. Okay, so aburrido becomes aburridísimo, inteligente, inteligentísimo, feliz, felicísimo. Be careful, you had to change your Z to a C here. Impaciente, impacientísimo, serio, serísimo, simpático, simpatiquísimo. Notice your C changes to QU. And atlético, atletiquísimo. Again, your C has to change to QU. Also, don't forget that you have an accent on the first I of ísimo in every one of these. So because we're adding the ísimo to an adjective, we still have to have these adjectives agree in gender and in number with the noun that they're describing. And we're going to do that just like we do our other adjectives by changing the O to A and making them plural when we need to. Okay, we have some examples now to help us practice this idea. So on the left, you have a noun, and on the right in parentheses, you have an adjective. So you need to take the adjective and do two things with it. You need to put it into the ísimo form, and you need to make it agree in gender and in number with the noun. Now, the adjectives fantástico, difícil, and rápido already have accents written on them. When you add the ísimo ending, you lose that accent and you keep the accent on the I of ísimo. You also want to be careful with fantástico and think about what happens to that C when you take off the O. Okay, let's check our answers. So we should have el libro fantastiquísimo. We leave it as ísimo because libro is masculine and singular. And don't forget, we need to change the C to QU. Las películas interesantísimas. Películas are feminine and plural, so we need to use ísimas. La chica atrevidísima. Chica is feminine and singular, so we use ísima. Los chicos guapísimos. Chicos are masculine and plural, so we use ísimos. La clase aburridísima. Clase is feminine and singular. Be careful because this is an exception to the rule we talked about earlier. So we need to use ísima with it. El examen dificilísimo. Examen is masculine and singular, so we use ísimo. Las atletas rapidísimas en los helados deliciosísimos.